Good evening, one and all. Good evening, one and all. We welcome you all to the international webinar series on holistic health, well-being, and sustainable development 2022-2023, commemorating Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav, nation celebrating 75 years of independence, United Nations Sustainable Development Goals 2015-2030, as part of awareness and campaigns, and also commemorating India's G20 presidency in collaboration with Sri Holistic Health Foundation India, Sri Research Institute Center for Art, Sciences and Wellbeing. Before we start our sessions, let's take the blessings of Almighty.
कुरुत्वं कल्याणम् आरोग्यं धनसम्पदः शुभं कुरुत्वं कल्याणम् आरोग्यं धनसम्पदः शत्रुबुद्धिविनाशाय दीपज्योतिर्नमोऽस्तुते दीपज्योतिर्नमोऽस्तुते शुभं कुरुत्वं कल्याणम् आरोग्यं धनसम्पदः शुभं कुरुत्वं कल्याणम् आरोग्यं धनसम्पदः.
With the blessings of Almighty, we shall continue with today's sessions. Today, we are commemorating International Day of International Carrot Day. As we all know, carrots are rich in vitamins and other essential nutrients. So this day is a wonderful opportunity for us to add carrots in our regular diet. And they are also very good in maintaining our eyesight and good eye health and hygiene. And today we have important commemorations like International Day for Mine Awareness and Assistance in Mine Action. And today we are also commemorating Mahavir Jayanti. So let's take it one by one and various other commemorations. Let's start with Mahavir Jayanti. So Mahavir Jayanti is celebrated 13 days after the waxing rising half of the Hindu month of the Chaitra Masa, which normally occurs in the late March, that is last week of March or first week of April in the Gregorian calendar, and it is most important religious holiday, commemoration, celebration in Jainism. So Mahavir Jayanti is the birthday or the birth celebration or the birth of Mahavira, the Buddha's contemporary and the 24th and final Tirthakara, that is one of the great sages in Buddhism and Jainism. So Jainism is said to have been founded by Lord Mahavir, and he was born in the month of Chaitra in the year 599 BC in Kshatriya Kund, Bihar. He was the Tirthakar's 24th and final incarnation. That is, in various religions, like in Islam, we have Prophet, and in Christianity, we have Jesus. So these are all messengers of, gods who have preached their own belief system. So similar way, these Mahavira, Lord Mahavir, has been teaching God who preaches and practices Dharma. So Mahavir was born to the king Siddhartha and the queen Trishala, and his parents named him Vardhaman. He was born into a royal family, but he despised royalty and high life. He was always looking for inner serenity and spirituality. Vardhaman took a profound interest in the essential beliefs of Jainism in his early years and began meditating. He left the throne and his family at the age of 30 to discover spiritual truth. Before reaching Kevalagnana or omniscience, he lived as an ascetic for more than 12 years, practicing rigorous penance and great disciple. Lord Mahavir's idol is placed on a chariot and is displayed in the procession known as Ratha Yatra. Religious rhymes, stavans are sung along the way. Mahavir's statues are anointed during a ceremony known as Abhisheka. The Jain community engages in prayers and charitable acts to celebrate this occasion. Nuns and monks host lectures to promote discourses, to promote the virtuous path defined by Jainism. Charitable missions organize various spiritual programs, charity programs, welfare programs, and also offer feasts and food offerings as part of the celebration. Age-old temples in India and abroad usually record a high number of visitors, devotees, and followers coming to pay respect and enjoy the day's ceremonies. So across the world, we can see the Jain Meguti temple is built at Aihole somewhere, and dating back to 634 BC. And as already mentioned, Mahavir was born in the month of Chaitra, somewhere around 599 BC. There is always a caution when we are talking about these years or calendars, because we have seen different calendars and these arrival on a certain dates or certain years are purely based on the calculations available on historical records. So they might not always be exact. And so we are always having the disclaimer when we are mentioning the dates. It is subject to correction because the history, no one knows the complete history. So we are only arriving at certain conclusions or exploring them as and when the details are available. So anyway, just for certain references, maybe what these years or mentions are based on certain references available with us. It may not be exactly true. It may be older. It may be, definitely it will be much more older only, not earlier. So Mahavira becomes one of the most influential Jain instructors and Indian religion that preaches non-violence towards all living things. As we have seen, most of these, especially the Vedas or the Bhakti cult, most of the things originated from India, and India has been the leader for the entire world, for that matter, entire planet, and has been rich in cultures and traditions. And Vedas have been always Sanatana Dharma, which is still stands the only way for the entire planet, for sustainability, for the entire now across the world, people are embracing Sanatana Dharma because that is a truly spiritual, not pseudo secular, or that's which is a purely secular in its own terms, and the world is looking for a spiritual where everyone is respected. We talk of inclusion, but we are excluded in terms of minorities and majorities. So inclusion is never possible as long as these differences are exaggerated or officially promoted. So in the this society, which is widely prevalent by religious and belief systems and caste, creed, race, ethnicity, so a lot of divisions are keeping us, um, having a common consciousness. So irrespective of all, we need to understand we all are human beings, and our prime priority is humanity. No matter which religion, which belief system, which race, which color we belong to, it doesn't matter as long as we understand, we identify that we are human beings for a common purpose. So we need to promote humanity. Humanity is ahead of religion. First, we have to be a good human beings. Religion cannot thrive without human beings. But, human beings can thrive happily without religion. So that's when we understand that, we don't fall into the trap of these systems, orthodox systems, where, they try to control the masses. Here, the point is, there is nothing wrong in practicing any religion or any faith, any belief system. But as long as it keeps you humane, it allows you to be human. It allows you to respect other human being as a human. Today, the world is suffering not because anything, but just because the inability or the disability of a human being to treat, accept the fellow human being as a fellow human being. We don't respect the other human being, for that matter, for other animal, for other plant, or for that matter, any species on the planet as similar to us. That is a major problem, disorder, disease, or the inability the human being is possessing now. That's why he is not only causing harm to himself, but also to the society, to the community, to the nation, to the planet at large. So we, as a human being, we have to be human, and we have to uphold humanity, and we also need to promote humanity. First comes humanity, rest, which are all optional, whether it may be your religion, your belief system, or but the first and utmost or topmost priority is humanity. We should be a complete human being. We should embrace humanity, keeping aside all of our differences. So when we are a good human being, in the very first place, irrespective of our caste, religion, ethnicity, gender, race, or anything for that matter, as long as we are a good human being as such, so we can embrace the differences and similarities among others. We are able to accept because We all are human beings. So we all have a lot of similarities along with little bit differences. That is where, the world, we are appreciating the diversity. Otherwise, if everyone is a carbon copy of you, then what will happen? Entire world will be of same nature, same persons. You cannot even identify, identical twins. Unless and until, they have some difference, we will not be able to identify. Just imagine for a second, entire these around 800 population, 800 crore population is similar, is a replica of each other. Can you imagine what will happen? Will we be able to appreciate? So the differences are to appreciate. The differences are, to embrace, to enjoy that, and to find uniqueness within ourselves, appreciating the differences. That's why we have a wonderful, tagline or punchline, or whatever you call, or like worship your own, but respect all. So worship your own, respect all. So worship yourself. It may not be always a god or something. Worship yourself, because God as a supreme being, or when we consider ourselves of a soul, if you don't believe in God, also fine. But because you have an energy, we all are energies, right? We all came from a super source of energy, whether you call it as a god or whether you call it as some natural force, or whether you call it as energy, or whether you call it as atom, molecule, whatever it is, you name it and you believe it, you practice it. But we all came from a source. As we have a saying, and also that matter is never created nor destroyed. It just changes its forms. That is the true essence of even us. We are formed from the Panchabhutas, right? How this we, in the sense, not only just body, the spiritual life, the spiritual energy, the soul, it is driving this body. Without the soul, what will happen? Our body will decompose in no time. Have you ever experienced staying with the dead body? In the right context, someone dies, and how long you can keep or stay along with the body without living as it is natural? We know without source of life, without source of energy, without soul in the body will decompose in no time. So how well, see, this body we are able to maintain only because of that energy source in us, because of the soul within us. So all souls are equal only. There is no difference between soul. Soul have similarity. Only it is our body, our actions, our thoughts, our behaviors, our intentions that create differences. Otherwise, we all are same. We all are spiritual beings having human experiences. Why we are different is because of our karma. Karma is nothing but the good and bad deeds we do. We are all a product of our karma. So as long as we balance our karma, we do good deeds, we keep doing more and more good deeds, we will reap more and more good things. And as long as we do bad things, we reap more of bad effects. So why these things are promoted, why non-violence is promoted, why various these Sanatana Dharma, especially when we look at why it is universal, why it is naturally acceptable, why it is prevalent everywhere, why it is acceptable for everyone is, be, uh, because of it is its applicability to each and everyone, not only just human beings, to the nature, to the planet, to the universe, to the Milky Ways, everything. So that's why Sanatana Dharma is not a religion or a belief system. It's, the natural principle of the existence. Sanatana means the oldest, the ancient, and there can be nothing beyond that. That means that is the starting. And Dharma is a set of principles, set of rules and regulations, set of guidelines. These are, so that's why Sanatana Dharma is not a religion. It is not a belief system. It is not a tradition. It is not a culture. It is our way of life. It is the secret of life. So that's why everyone can follow. In fact, all religions follow Sanatana Dharma, but they differ in their own rituals. That's where they differ. If you see all the religions, they have the same set of principles, same set of the core beliefs or the core system is same. But how do we differentiate? There lies the problem. So we have created different figures, and we have created different names. As we know, Hinduism, say, for suppose, or Jainism, today on the occasion of Mahavir Jayanti, we are talking about Jainism. They have Mahavir. Buddhism, they have Buddha, and they have, in Sikhism, they have in Guru Nanak and various other spiritual leaders. And in Islam, we have, Allah, and in Christianity, we have Jesus and Mary, and in various other religions, they have the head. So they created differences because, if everyone has the same thing, again, there will be no differentiation, right? So based on interest, like we created, we want chapati, we want rice. So in chapati also we have different kinds. We can make it this roti with the normal roti. We can make, paneer roti. We can make aloo roti. Mixing in atta, we have different kind of same roti is same. Without wheat, this flour, we cannot prepare roti. But along with that roti, what people have done, they have created different religions, different belief systems, and different set of rituals. Like aloo, like parota is same. Aloo parota is there. Gobi parota is there. Different types. So these are, as long as we understand, these all take us to same thing. But we have created, we in the sense, not we, those in the past, they have created these differences to appreciate their own interest, and to have their own set of rules and regulations. So there is nothing wrong. That's why, the beauty of Sanatana Dharma is to appreciate, worship your own, and respect others. So that is the greatest beauty. But it is not like, worship your own, criticize all others. That is where the entire world is moving. So that will create disaster only. As long as we worship our own and we respect others, the world will have global peace and global harmony. That is where we need to move towards. That can only happen when we see that we are human beings and the others are all our fellow human beings, which are similar to us, which have equal rights as we have, which have equal freedom as we have, and we need to respect as we want ourselves to be respected. In spite of differences and similarities, we also need to respect others in spite of similarities and differences. That is what most important enlightenment as a human being one can get. If that is achieved, then there are no matter how the differences are, we will always have that harmony, that peace, not only within us, but also within the society. So our ultimate aim has to be identify ourselves as a human being and the fellow beings as also the fellow human beings or animals, living beings, non-living beings, as we all belong to a supreme soul or supreme energy. That's why, this beautiful concept of Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam. We all are one family because we all came from one single source. And that source doesn't have any religion, doesn't have any belief system, doesn't have any faith system. That is independent of any of these systems. That's why we all are same. Our difference is because of our acts, whether good or bad, based on our acts, we differ. But we are deviating from ourselves. We are creating differences and we are differentiating, discriminating based on age, based on gender, based on position, based on wealth, based on properties, based on status, based on occupation, based on race, ethnicity, religion. All we have started creating, differentiating, discriminating based on various grounds. This is what creating lot of hatred, lot of lack of harmony, disharmony, lack of disrespect, lack of violence among the different groups. So what we can do to avoid is first understand that we all are same. We all belong to one family. That is Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam. So we all share the same responsibilities. We all share the same duties. Okay, fine. We need to respect the university in diversity. When we want ourselves to be respected as we are, then we are also under the obligation to respect others as they are. We have no right to judge them. We have no right to criticize them. Because how we are, we want ourselves to be accepted, like they want to be accepted as they are. As long as we don't understand this simple understanding, we continue to differentiate, we continue to discriminate, we continue to create differences. So that differences will create disharmony, that will create disturbance, that will create hatred, and that will create anger, frustration towards self and other communities, other people. So always remember, we always have to reinstate or restate ourselves that we all are human beings with same equal opportunities, rights, and freedoms. We have no right to discriminate anyone on any ground, whatever ground it may be. It can be age, gender, or caste, ethnicity, community, or country, whatever it is. We have no right. As we want ourselves to be respected, others also want themselves to be respected. So when we understand that we all are on the same level, we all are spiritual beings with human experience, that's where we differ. We all are same. And again, you might have a query that then why we are differing? Because we have different experiences. We go through different experiences. We go through different tastes. We go through different likes. Based on that, see, all because of our thoughts, behaviors, and actions, we tend to take up so many different works. And based on that, we achieve or arrive at different situations, different occupations. So that creates the differences. But we need to understand all are interdependent. Nothing is independent. We cannot survive without nature. We cannot survive without breathing in. So where that air comes, it is from the nature. What if air doesn't give oxygen and oxygen is completely eliminated, and nature also thinks like, yes, now I have to stop giving, I have to stop contributing, and it doesn't give oxygen. What will happen? Just imagine, entire population will be wiped out in no time, in no seconds for that matter. So it's not always like that in nature. Nature is always in harmony with each other. Similar way, we also have to be in harmony with other beings, that may be fellow human beings, fellow animals, fellow, living and non-being beings, and fellow species also for that matter. Because we are all dependent on each other in an ecosystem, in a food cycle. What happens, we cannot call this as a growth. We call it as development. Growth is just in one sector. Say, suppose if one hand is growing and all other body parts are not growing, can we call it as a development? We cannot call it as a development. Similarly, when all the elements, all the aspects of the planet doesn't thrive, then we cannot call it as a development. We can call it as a growth in particular thing. And that growth is always an abnormal growth. A growth that is not contributing to the development is not at all a growth. That will create a lot of disasters. That is what's happening. We are having increased growth in production. Say, suppose growth in food production, but that is impacting the entire world in the form of climate change or in the form of wastage. Why? Because it is not, when we see the root cause, and there is a lot of production, more than what it is required. We produce more than what we require, 2 to 3 times of production. But people are dying with hunger. We see a lot of deaths. 1 second, almost 1 second, one person is dying in the world out of hunger. But we produce 3 times more than what is required. And 1/3 of the entire produce is going waste. And 1/3 of the produce is going for animal farming. That is, only with one choice of consuming meat in the diet or in our food preferences, that 1/3 of the entire produce, agriculture produce, goes to feeding these animals, raising these animals, which are to be consumed again. So 1/3 already gone, wasted, 1/3 already gone, that is also wasted again, because that is also consumed as food. Instead of that, we can directly consume these food grains. At least we could have saved that entire process, and lot of methane gas emissions and lot of pollution due to this animal, a lot of cruelty committed towards animals, and because they are also having rights, as we have human rights, they also have animal rights. They are also sentient beings. They are also having all, they are also feeling the pain and pleasure. We cannot kill because we are in an advantageous position. We are killing them and eating them. We are torturing them. As we are in advantageous position, just imagine what everything tomorrow, if every animal starts to revolt. We cannot even fight with mosquitoes today. No matter we reached out space, we reached out other Milky Way. But today also entire world is, suffering from malaria. We are not able to just fight with the mosquito in our own home today, even no matter how big a scientist you are. We need to understand our limitations. Even mosquito, the most intelligent species is mosquito only. Since how many years, since its, birth since its evolution as species, it is still thriving today in spite of we keep, how many booster repellents are all, they are happily surviving because they are the fastest adapting species on the planet. They adapt to anything. You just, no matter how it may be, that will, they keep adapting very rapidly. They are changing in spite of all our measures. They are becoming more powerful. In fact, no repellent can do anything to mosquito. What, in fact, these mosquito repellents or mosquito vaporizers are in turn causing a great harm to the human beings using them. Today, most of the disorders that are causing are due to mosquito repellents and mosquito, these vapors. Mosquitoes are not dying, people are dying. People are not dying, but people are getting a lot of problems, respiratory problems. Because we close everything and we inhale the poisonous gases that are emitted from the vapors, these mosquito repellent vapors. And that is creating a lot of problems. Instead, we have very easy way to control mosquitoes. But we are not doing. We are not keeping our surroundings clean. We are not cultivating. We are not growing plants which repellent, which act as a natural repellents to mosquitoes. We are not having these lizards. We are not allowing these lizards which eat mosquitoes and other insects in our houses. See, these are all natural. We are not allowing spiders, which are actually acting as a barriers. They put all these webs across that prevents, mosquitoes or insects getting into our houses. See how many ways all these species are contributing. Of course, they create a little bit of, inconvenience for us, but in fact, they are all working in harmony to protect each other. At the same time, they need to satisfy themselves, so they also working towards their fulfillment. At the same time, fulfillment of everyone on the planet. So that is more important. It's not just we satisfy our needs, that will again harm us only. So today, by using mosquito repellents and these vapors, we have booster, double booster, triple booster. All that boosters are for us only to get, disease from that by inhaling those toxics and inhalants, toxic fumes. Mosquitoes are happy. They will, evolve. They continue to evolve and they will continue to evolve. Today, we have no cure to malaria, in spite of whatever it is. So we need to understand. See, this, we have to accept it. We cannot deny it. There are many things, many diseases, many disorders we don't have cure today. Our science is still, it's in infancy. And more than in last 200, 300 years, the planet which was surviving from billions and millions of years, we have put the entire planet into extinction today. A lot of species have become extinct. A lot of species have become endangered, lost. A lot of species have become vulnerable. Just in last 200, 300 years, thanks to the modern science. Of course, the credit goes to human beings, because we are the ones who exploited, abused the science. And today we have to talk about sustainable development. Today we have to talk about restoration only because of our development programs we have taken up which were truly destructive. And today, if we don't take the action, nature will take its own action. And we have not learned from the history. Today, we have seen COVID, whether it is a human-made or whether it is natural. Okay, though there are more evidences that it is a human-made, and it is, of course, there are different, stories that it is a biological weapon that has been used to control the population or to, create a crisis of inflation or economy, or no matter what. These are all conspiracy theories, or it may be true also. So anyway, that is a different topic. We don't want to talk about it. But what we really want to focus is on having a common understanding. So to have this global harmony, global peace, we need to understand that we all are human beings, and our priority, we have to be human, and our ultimate goal or our ultimate process is humanity. We have differences, we have similarities, but we need to respect others as we want ourselves to be respected in spite of all the similarities and differences. As long as we are clear with this, we will not discriminate, we will not judge anyone, we will not look down or up or anyway in such manner which is discriminating or differentiating others. So let's, on this occasion of Mahavir Jayanti, let's the entire world be in harmony, in peace. So Mahavira passes away at the age of 72. And at river Rijubalika, Mahavira spent 12 years undergoing rigorous penance under the Sala tree before becoming or finally reaching Kevala Gnana, or it is also known Kaivalya Gnana. So now we are talking about two belief systems or religions which are of Indian origin, like Buddhism and Jainism. So you may have also a doubt, those who are not very much aware of these topics. So you may have doubt this Buddhism, Jainism, did Buddha ever meet Mahavira? Because they did not meet actually, because both their timelines are different. Mahavira was born after Buddha's time. So Buddhism was before Jainism. So that's why both follow Vedic tradition, and both were also warriors, Kshatriyas. That again, these caste systems, these Varna systems are not based on caste or anything. It's purely based on occupation. The rulers who used to rule, who used to do this, security, welfare, and all were primarily of Kshatriya, warrior. And these caste, 4 Varnas, in fact, caste is often misunderstood or mistakenly used. These Varnas are based purely on occupation. Often, there is a lot of misunderstanding, even among the educated, that these Varnas are based on, caste or something like that. No, purely these Varnas are based on the occupation. Anyone can be part of any Varna based on their choice of occupation. And there is nothing like higher Varna, lower Varna, because all occupations are equally important. For us, we cannot go out without wearing shoes, without wearing sandals, without wearing chappals, right? Can we go out? Can you imagine now? in this present world. So we need, from basic, we need food to eat. We need clothes to wear. We need a home or a shelter to live. So we need to have a lot of things, and everything is very important. We cannot undermine or overmine anything or any religion, any caste, anything. Especially varnas are, a harmonious system where one have selected their occupation based on their, family preference or based on their own expertise. In fact, because of having so much experience in that, they have chosen, because it's easy for them. See, if you have a family of doctors, it's easy for you to be a doctor because you can continue the professions, because many people know your family members as doctors, and it is easy. No need of any advertisement, no need of any promotion. So they will automatically know about you. Once you start practice, you may not require that much effort because you are born into that, and since your childhood, you have been seeing the ins and outs. You know everything about that. So similarly, since hundreds and thousands of years, for that matter, they have been continuing that occupation. So they have been that. So there is nothing hard and fast rule like they have to be forever in. Is their choice or more of convenience? They wanted to continue in the same because of the expertise they are having in that. It's not maybe due to lack of other options, because they are not comfortable. For that matter, when we are into any business or in profession for a long time, we feel more comfortable and we feel more secure to be in that profession because we know the ins and outs of that profession. So that's how we keep, we have more confidence in that rather than venturing into a new profession or occupation. So similar way, that's why we have to treat every occupation with respect. That's what we were talking about, treating every human being, no matter of, irrespective of their occupation, age, creed, caste. If we treat everyone as a fellow human being, fellow soul, fellow species, so you will not discriminate. But in fact, you will appreciate that he is also contributing, and his contribution is making you more comfortable. See, everyone is contributing. From the food we eat, farmers are contributing. And they are from all castes and creeds. And we have others contributing to, say, footwear. And they are contributing for our clothes. They are contributing for our gadgets. They are contributing for our shelter where we are. They are contributing to the vehicles in which we move, in which we commute. So these are various things, where we need to be broader in understanding these concepts, where we can achieve global harmony, global peace. So on this occasion of Mahavir Jayanti, we have to remember that we need to practice non-violence towards all life forms, not just to human beings, but everyone on the planet. We should not harm anyone. So we should practice non-violence. And Jains throughout the world observe the day by giving alms, praying, fasting, practice a selfless act to make the observance and commemoration and celebrations of Mahavir Jayanti. So lots of fasting and prayer happens today. And this is also a wonderful opportunity to visit Jain temples across the world, because they will be beautifully decorated, and you can offer mass prayers and practice meditation. And these celebrations has been quite old. When Queen Trishala and King Siddhartha were expecting their first child, She had a dream one night that the unborn prince would be Tirthankara in Jainism. So that was an early sign of indication of, this Lord Mahavira to be born as a Tirthakara. And Mahavira, as already mentioned, was born in Ahalya Bhumi, and according to Jain sources, the monarch himself celebrated his own birth. So the Indra, who is also Mahavira, birth was celebrated by Indra also. And Mahavira parents died when he was around 28, and when he went for an austere life in pursuit of spiritual awakening, already disillusioned by his regal life. So he left his family and kingdom, and he has taken up renunciation. And Mahavira began his spiritual rumination and acquired infinite knowledge, Kevala Gnana, after a 12-year meditation period. And finally, he died in Pavapuri, Magadha in Bihar. So it is the most important and auspicious occasion and festival for not only Jains, but everyone who long for the peace and harmony. It's time to celebrate his life and reflect on his teachings. And he is regarded as one of the world's greatest prophets of social transformation and peace. He followed in the footsteps of Tirthakara, Parshvanatha, and his predecessor. So Lord Mahavir's spiritual and moral brilliance wowed a large number of people, not just in India, but throughout the world. He developed Jainism, a basic religion free of different ritual complexity, and he encouraged many others to follow his footsteps. So we have International Day for the Mind and Awareness Assistance in Mind Action. Hope at one point or other we have heard about minds, or otherwise we could have seen or heard about mines in movies, at least. Okay, these mines or landmines. The day aims to raise awareness about landmines and seek assistance for the mine action work and advance towards removing them. As we have seen, because of these wars, many countries have planted these landmines in the borders and in the most vulnerable areas. And even today, most of these mines which were planted or installed at the time of world wars and various other wars are still lying in the ground. And they can, blast, or they can get activated at any time. So this day is particularly dedicated to raise awareness about landmines, seek assistance for mine action work, and advance towards removing them. Assisted by the United Nations and other organizations, the campaign calls for the development of national mine action capacities in nations where mines and explosive remnants of the war remain and constitute a serious threat to the safety, health, and lives of civilians. And it is also a huge deterrent to the social and economic development at the nation and local levels. So this was approved by General Assembly on December 8, 2005, and it provides an opportunity for the United Nations Mine Action Service, UNMAS, and other organizations to reflect on and raise awareness about landmines, explosive remnants of war, and improvised explosive devices, IEDs in short, as well as take an additional action towards their abolition. For over 2 decades, This body has been driven by the needs of the people affected by the landmines and is sensitive to the threat of explosive hazards faced by civilians, peacekeepers, and humanitarians. So the focus of UNMAS is on saving lives, facilitating the deployment of UN missions, delivering humanitarian assistance to protect civilians, supporting the voluntary return of internally displaced people and refugees, enabling humanitarian and recovery activities, and advocating for international humanitarian and human rights laws. The 5 pillars of mine action that the UNMAS has are clearance, mine risk, education, victim assistance, advocacy, and stockpile destruction. The organizations helps identify risk-prone areas, supports and rehabilitates victims, and advocates for the ban and regulation of landmines. The body also extends technical support to help destroy stockpiled explosive hazards, inadequately managed. Conventional ammunition stockpiles threaten public safety and pose a grave risk to the security of the people in such areas. So mine action also helps people to survive and thrive by clearing up vital access routes and freeing up arable land for farmers. So UNMAS works in various places such as Afghanistan, Colombia, the Central African Republic, Sudan, Libya, Nigeria, and Syria, among others. Led by it, the mine action community around the world is dedicated to eradicating landmines and saving lives. Landmines are basically of broadly or of two types: the anti-tank mines designed to disable tanks and vehicles, and the anti-personnel mines designed to injure and cause casualties. So these are very heavy and more harmful, which have the larger capacity to destroy tanks, these anti-tank mines. And these anti-personnel mines are of less powerful comparatively. So these are used for harming, injury, or creating casualties for humans and animals. So landmines are menacing because they are created to inflict brutal damage on people, animals, including lifelong injuries or at times death. Once planted, landmines don't go away easily and need to be removed carefully. Landmines placed during the World War I and II still cause death and destruction in parts of Europe and North Africa, even other parts of the world. And there are currently 110 million landmines in the ground, according to the estimates. And most of these are in Egypt, followed by Iran, Afghanistan, Angola, Iraq, China, and Cambodia. The UN claims that even with advanced technology for detecting and clearing landmines, it might take around 1,100 years for all of them to be clear. So it's a quite long time. So this commemoration or this event is very crucial to have, to bring awareness of destroying the stockpiles so that no landmines are again used, so that it will not extend the process. And it is also a day to spread information and awareness about the dangers posed by these landmines to civilian populations around the world. And many people are surprised to learn that these weapons are placed around the world even today, and also causing casualties even today. And you may be wondering why it will take so much time and what is the difficulty in identifying and removing. Of course, there are various challenges. We will take it up on one fine day because it will consume a lot of time. But in short, there are various people who who are advocating on these issues, like Daniel Craig was named the UN Global Advocate for the elimination of mines and explosive hazards by UN Secretary General Ban Ki-moon in 2015. So most affected countries, the nations worst hit by landmines, as already mentioned, are Afghanistan, Angola, Cambodia, Iraq, China, Egypt, and Laos. Removing them is an expensive task. The cost of removing all currently existing mines would be around 50 to 100 million US dollars and more. So the cost factor is always there. And many of them were randomly disseminated. The United States dropped thousands of mines from planes during its 9-year bombing campaign in Laos. So similarly, in many war times, many landmines were also dropped from flights. So identifying them, removing them, some are deeply buried, some are deeply planted. So buried landmines can remain active for more than half a century. So you can imagine the long life of these landmines. They can, stay active till 50 years or more, even more, if the condition is good enough for them to be active. So that's why it is very important to identify them and remove them. And landmine removal saves lives. As we see, more than 8,600 people were injured or killed by landmines in 2016. These are reported figures and many unreported. And still there are around 61 countries that have landmines, and thousands of people in these regions live with the daily threat of losing their lives or the limbs. So that's why it's a very serious issue. And living with death looming over can have serious effects on not only physical but also mental health. Removing landmines help people reclaim their rightful land, which can be used to build homes, grow food, and sell produce. This will lead to an increase in income and prosperity. And the biggest stockpiles of anti-personnel landmines are held by Russia, Pakistan, China, United States, and many other countries. A small group of countries is still manufacturing anti-personnel landmines. These include Pakistan, South Korea, and many others reserving manufacturing rights. Myanmar is the only country that has persistently continued using these weapons over the years. So this is a day to create awareness. And apart from that, we have International Carrot Day today. And today is also commemorated as World Rat Day. As you know, there are a lot of benefits with the rat. Rat being part of ecosystem and food chain. It controls, it is a food source for various animals like snakes and cats. If rats are not there, then their food cycle is also disrupted. And of course, they are also cause of various pandemics like plague, bubonic plague. We all remember the greatest pandemic. So this day is to dispel bad vibe that rats suffer. Rats are amazing animals with some amazing talents and qualities. Rats have suffered a bad reputation since the bubonic plague, and people usually despise rats for stealing fruit and spreading diseases. But these rats are widely used in labs for testing purpose. and for studying various vaccines and medicines. But those who have pet rats know what they are and that they are very intelligent animals. So those who have rats as pets, they know how intelligent they are and how fun to be with them. And they need attention, care, and love, just like any other living being. So in 2002, a group of pet enthusiasts started World Rat Day to create acceptance of these wonderful animals, allowing them to be part of our everyday lives. Rats are one of the oldest mammals that we can still see around. They were here when dinosaurs roamed the earth. They witnessed the extinction of the Jurassic era, and they were there to begin the era of mammals. They witnessed the birth of many new species. Yeah, sorry for the technical issue. Yeah, so where we are? So rats belong to the long-tailed rodents of the medium size from the species Rodentia and genus Rattus. Their long tail is a prominent feature, and rats can use the tail for thermal control. Rats are pets in most of the world, but they are not originally found in every part of the world. For most of us, they were introduced by ships in the medieval era. Black rats, in particular, are notoriously successful as an invasive species. However, different cultures view rats in a different light. Rats are bad news in European cultures, where they are better represented in Asian cultures. Rats represent Chinese zodiac sign. They are also mentioned as vehicle of Lord Sri God Ganesh, according to Hindu mythologies. And this is, beauty of Sanatana Dharma. That's why we always appreciate. The Sanatana Dharma gives equal importance to not only just human beings, plants, but also animals. Animals also are also being worshipped because, it's not whether it is an animal, whether it is a human being, whether it is a plant, whether it is a mountain, or whether it is a stone. It's all about, treating all the living beings, non-living beings as equal as we are. So many do not understand this concept. Either they lack the maturity to understand, or they lack the competency to understand. That's why they think, that what this kind of stupidity to worship plant, worship river, worship, because they all are contributing to us. What we are doing, we are exploiting them, we are destroying them, we are polluting them, and we do not have a gratitude towards them. Without them, we cannot survive. We do not understand them. That is where we are trying to exploit them. We are trying to pollute them. We are trying to abuse them. But by respecting them, by imbibing divinity into them, we are trying to protect them, that we do not want anything to be polluted, right? When we have divinity imbibed in them, when we treat with equal respect, do we pollute them? Do we discriminate them? Do we abuse them? That is what, the intention or the prime purpose of having divinity imbibed into every aspect of the living and non-living being. But many people do not understand. They don't have that kind of maturity nor a broad-minded thinking, that they continue to criticize that this is a foolish act of respecting or, performing rituals. Because of them only today, this situation is seen, because they do not see the divinity. They do not see, they do not respect. In fact, because of them, these natural resources are being exploited. These natural resources are being depleted because of this. In fact, they are the fools. They think that other people are fools. In fact, they are the fools, and they are the ones who are destroying this environment because of lack of proper understanding. Because we do not see them with respect, because we don't have gratitude as they are contributing for us, our well-being, we are not contributing to their well-being. It is we who are destroying. It is we who are polluting them. It is we who are abusing them and using for our own profits, greed, rather than for overall well-being. So similarly, that's why this, especially this Hindu culture, or even in Sanatana Dharma, these principles always stand, no matter whether anything can survive or not. Sanatana Dharma, that's why itself is called Sanatana, the oldest ever and will be the ever existing. That's why it is applicable to all. You cannot deny even a single principle, single, a rule, single thing in Sanatana Dharma, because it is applicable for everyone. No matter whether you are a human being, animal, you are a plant, anything, it applies to everyone on the universe. That's why we need to understand. So, coming to these rats are very intelligent and cunning animals. The popularity of domestic rats is increasing. Day by day, rats became friendly over the generations in captivity. They are curious animals with the greatest potential to be great companions for the human friends. Pet rats pose no threat to us and do not carry diseases any more than a usual dog or cat, for that matter, any pet. They are low maintenance due to their small size and their flexibility in eating habits. So rats began to appear in Southeast Asia and spread to other parts of Asia, and its origin dates back to 2 lakhs years ago and even more. And rats began to spread to the Middle East and other parts of Asia and other continents through ships and boats somewhere around 4,000 years ago. It may be still older, but based on certain references. And rats began to spread in Africa from Asia around 3,000 years ago. And a group of pet enthusiasts starts a day dedicated to rats in 2002. So, as we already mentioned, rats are highly intelligent rodents. They are as smart as dogs, can be very cunning, and can also be very cunning also. These are easy to take care if you know how to handle them. They are clean animals, but their shelter needs to be cleaned daily. So, for that matter, for us also, if we don't live in a clean, hygienic environment, we also get contaminated, or we will also carry a lot of germs. Similar way, they also need to be taken care of their habitats. And comparatively, the rats have a very, small life comparatively to human beings as pets. They somewhere live in between 18 to 36 months maximum. So 2 to 3 years is maximum lifetime for rats. And this is a perfect day to take care of your rodent friend with lots of love and have a tasty treat for your furry friend. If you don't have a pet today, it is a good day to get one and name your new pet, share with his name, your friends. And there are a lot of informative and fun videos of rats available online. You can go through. Stuart Little, hope many of you would have watched. That is also a movie. We have, even the sequels of Stuart Little. That is a very good movie to watch, especially if you are a movie lover. That focuses on rat and rat life and emotions and all. It's a very well presented movie. You'll enjoy as a family member. So ratters were animals used by rat catchers and trained to hunt rats in medieval period for controlling diseases. And there are more than 25,000 rats in Karnimata temple. And these rats are worshipped there. So rats are worshipped, of course, as a vehicle of Lord Ganesha. Rat is also worshipped. And we often see that, generally rats, whether you see a rat or not, while worshipping, you will see, especially in Navaratri, whether you have rats in home or not, at the time of Navaratri, this even the presence of rat is considered so auspicious. There is a belief also, whether keeping aside of other aspects, but Lord Ganesha, Vahana is rat. So rats, if someone sees a rat coming inside or in your home, it is considered as, the blessings of Lord Ganesha. That his vehicle has come to bless and grace and have the feast, food offering. So that is one of the belief. Of course, in every religion, they have a lot of beliefs. And if, we have to criticize, no religion is, left behind. For there are a lot of criticisms in every belief system, every religion. Okay, we are not into that. We just, having a mention here. So there are, even for that matter, every animal, like dogs also, we have God associated with Bhairav Swami. And for cows also, cow itself is a very sacred animal. Even in terms of economy also, you take cow. Cow is the most beneficial species on the planet, even more beneficial than a plant, than any species on the planet. Most compassionate animal, but it is highly abused, it is highly communalized, it is highly, for their own, vested interest. But if you see, there is no species on the planet that can be as beneficial, as compassionate than cow. That is why, it is also known as Kamadhenu. Cow is also treated at par with mother. So any human being, for that matter, need to have an experience with cow. Then you will understand and appreciate what kind of animal it is. It is the most compassionate animal on the planet. Everyone needs to experience. Whether you have one pet or not, if you want to have an experience with a pet, always adopt a cow, whether it may be in your own backyard or in your home or in a community goshala, or where these cows are kept, and you adopt one, or you sponsor a cow and you spend some time with cow, then you will appreciate the beauty. You will come to know what compassion is, what selfless is, how to be, so compassionate. So that's how every animal is associated with one form of divinity or other to protect them. Even eagles, even peacocks, you see. That's why the greatness of Hinduism, or even for that matter, Sanatana Dharma. Sanatana Dharma treats everything, even living being, non-living beings, animals, plants, human beings, all as same and equal. It's all about spiritual beings having human experiences. It's about Sanatana Dharma. Even in Hinduism, we see, every god, you name a god, that a particular god is associated with one plant, one animal, and, one bird and one species, so that, we are protecting them, we are conserving them, and we are promoting them, and we are able to see them as part of our family. So that is the greatness of being coexisting with each other, contributing to each other. And because today we are also commemorating this landmines awareness, rats are used to detect landmines and diagnose disease such as tuberculosis. So rats are, if trained, because they are intelligent animals, if they're trained, and rats are very good in detecting earthquakes, tremors, tsunamis, and many other things. They are highly intelligent animals. And rats can make sounds similar to human laughter when they are happy. Have you ever observed it? If not, try to observe. And rats are constantly groomers, and they keep themselves clean unless and until they live in a very unhealthy habitat, unhygienic habitat. Otherwise, rats are very particular about cleanliness and tidiness. They always want to keep themselves clean and tidy. So that's why they are very good pets. So even if you don't take care of grooming of rat, it itself takes very well the personal hygiene of itself. So that is one greatest advantage we have with rats. So we love all animals, all living beings deserve respect and love. And of course, today we are commemorating World Rats Day. So rats are no different, and we love to have a day for them. That's how this World's Rat Day is. Rats have a negative reputation in the human world, but this day can show them that this is not always the case, that rats can also be awesome pets. Of course, many human beings also have a bad reputation. And the entire human beings are now under bad reputation of abusing, killing various species, polluting the planet and whatnot. And comparatively to our bad reputation, they are far, far, far better, right? So that's how. So rats, as already mentioned, have low maintenance. So, and they are available free, and also they are very low cost also. But remember, as an animal activist, I should tell that take care only if you are prepared for one extra additional family member, as you are expecting a child, or as planning for a child in your home. Pet is also one child. So only if you are prepared, adopt. Otherwise, don't abuse that pets. And that is also will create a lot of problems. And if you abandon that pet, again, it will go, it has to go with lot of trauma. And with this, we shall conclude the commemoration of World Rat Day. And though we have a lot of other commemorations, and we are coming to Anyway, I will quickly move on to other commemorations so that we can end it soon, around 8 o'clock. So today is also 404 day. Of course, those we are using internet, we know, 404, not found, not reachable, not existent. Of course, it has a very specific connotation. So this day is celebrated as 404 Day. The Electronic Frontier Foundation's EFF activists celebrated 404 Day as a campaign to warn everyone that internet, long dubbed the information super highway, is full of bottlenecks and rotting infrastructure, especially in public schools and libraries where children have access. To comply with this Children's Internet Protection Act, CIPA, public libraries and schools have been censoring internet for over a decade by banning and blacklisting websites. In exchange for government funds, the law was established to urge public libraries and schools to filter child pornography and obscene or harmful to children pictures from their internet connections. Especially this is in context of US. So it is about a day dedicated to raising awareness about internet filtering in public schools and libraries across the US. And the Children Internet Protection Act, CIPA, a well-intentioned but flawed regulation, connects federal money for public schools and libraries to obligations to screen child pornography and anything obscene or damaging to the kids. Unfortunately, among other issues, poor and converted filtering technologies and too aggressive filtering implementations, resulting in the filtering of constitutionally protected speech. Of course, see, as long as we have to, restrict ourselves, we have to control ourselves. It is not always good that we are in someone's control. That's why we have, we have intellectual capacity, cognitive capacities, think what is good or bad. So we need to ensure, we need to have self-regulation on ourselves. So unfortunately, extreme interpretations of CIPA has resulted in excessive and unwarranted censorship in public libraries, frequently because libraries go beyond the legal limits of CIPA. When establishing content filters of fear of breaching the law. As a result, students and library customers across the country are frequently and unnecessarily denied access to constitutionally protected websites, such as art museum websites or health-related websites, because they contain certain information which can be harmful to children. Of course, for science students, medical students, they might be essential. Even children are learning about human body and various other aspects. So it is very important for them to access information. But again, these content filters, in a positive note, might restrict them. So according to the Electronic Frontier Foundation and other internet freedom supporters, part of the problem is that web filters intended to protect young people from obscene information, such as pornography, accidentally block all kinds of useful, instructive, and non-porn websites. This includes genuine keyword conflations that ban pages on chicken breasts or breast cancer, as well as Shakespeare. So it goes after other content that is deemed inappropriate by authorities, such as non-mainstream faiths like Wicca or North American spirituality, LGBTQ information, underage tobacco use, and sexual health. So according to EFF, this is a violation of First Amendment. This is why EFF is encouraging librarians, students, concerned library users around the country to participate in 404 Day to raise awareness on prohibited websites and internet censorship in libraries. Of course, it is not as easy as we say so, because, it's very difficult. Again, I said, as I mentioned, self-regulation is more important. not only when we are releasing content on the internet, placing content on the internet, at the same time while accessing the internet also, we need to have self-regulation on what kind of content we are consuming. So HTTPS status codes, which had previously been advised in 1990, are introduced by the World Wide Web Consortium, W3C, in 1990. And 404 is first created. Tim Berners-Lee, who is the creator of the Internet, World Wide Web, defines 404 codes in 1992, based on those used for File Transfer Protocol, FTP, in which codes begin with four effective mistakes. So in exchange for continuous government support, the regulation is supposed to urge public libraries and schools to filter child pornography and obscene or harmful to children from their internet connections in 2000. And 2005, the Children's Internet Protection Act is approved by the United States Congress and reserves the use of filtering in libraries and schools across the country. So the idea circulated in early 2000s that 404 was derived from Bell Room 404, that this room housed the web's first servers at the European Organization for Nuclear Research in Switzerland. The World Wide Web inventor Tim Berners-Lee had an office there and was frequently unavailable. So that's how 404 is always displayed when a content or a website is not available. So if you happen to find these filters, you might request your librarian to turn off them, or better yet, share your story. Then how do you resolve this 404 error? The quickest and most straightforward solution to resolve your 404 error code is to redirect the page to another page. First and foremost, figure out whether your local libraries or public schools have excessive screening. Raise them. If not, take it up with the authorities. So basically, 404 means not found. The response status code 404 not found indicates that the server was unable to locate the requested resource. According to a legend, as mentioned, 404 was called after a room itself where the first web servers were housed. The 404 should have broad appeal aside from serving as a reminder technology and the web. So it's have been both a joke and a meme. The blunder that has immortalized in comic books and t-shirts, making it more accessible and relevant aspect of what was formerly considered nerd comedy, but now it is now part of everyday's life. There are a lot of websites that use creativity for their 404 pages these days. And the greatest part of this is 404 pages can be customized. So if you are a website administrator, or if you are into web designing or anything related to content creation, so make use of your creativity and innovation to redesign your 404 pages. And websites offering critical health information as well as educational and creative content are frequently restricted because of over-aggressive use of internet filters, content filters. Raise awareness among family members and friends. The seemingly benign 404 error may be concealing censorship. So on 404 day, get engaged, promote awareness and participate. And the futility of filtering and how youngsters learn to avoid filters at a young age is a viable argument against 404. At the same time, it is scary how filters disproportionately harm low-income populations or those who rely on public internet access. So today is also Discover National Parks Fortnight in UK. It highlights the importance of national parks and the role they play in conserving our environment and encouraging people to take up outdoor activities. And we have various other commemorations. Today, one more important commemoration is National Hug a News Person Day in US. So they are right. So this day is for showing our appreciation for the news people in a big way. Of course, we are losing interest and faith on the news media channels nowadays because, only very couple of news channels are very having, following these morals and ethics, and they're truly transparent. But most of them say because they are owned by one party or one person who is also inclined to one party or other, one belief system or one religion, and again they have their own bias which rises against. So we may not always find very objective information, but we do have people who are really very objective. So this is a wonderful opportunity to recognize such people and appreciate. And of course, hugging is not though that widely practiced in our culture. So we can use a different form of expression to appreciate them. And this week is also commemorated as National Sexual Assault Awareness Month in US, and also Month's Day of Action to raise awareness about sexual assault and to prevent sexual assault, harassment, and abuse through education, to teach consent and comprehend boundaries, and to promote important tools to help shift cultural views through social media campaigns, events, and offer methods to support victims. So with this, we shall conclude today's commemorations and see you all tomorrow. And thank you everyone for joining us. Before leaving, quickly fill up the feedback form. And those who have not registered, we request everyone to register. The link for the registration is same for every day, but you need to just enter the date on which you are registering in the same form. So you can use the same form daily to register. Every day you are going to get a different certificate, and we are covering different topics. So make use of the registration form before you join, or after joining, or after immediately leaving, because registration is mandatory. And also quickly fill up the feedback form. And we have also circulated the feedback form for the international conference, which was recently held for 11 days, including Social Work Day celebrations. A feedback form has been circulated to all. We request all the speakers, presenters, panelists to complete their feedback form, because certificates, certificate is ready, we need to generate them. Once we receive the feedback from all, we don't want to generate few today, few tomorrow. Once we will wait for 2-3 days and we'll generate all at once. So we request everyone to complete by this weekend. By this weekend, we will close all the feedback forms, and we will start whatever data we receive, we will issue certificates to everyone. So we request everyone to complete their feedback form, and most probably tonight, almost the feedback form is also ready for the participants. Mostly by tonight or tomorrow morning, the feedback form will be also shared for all the participants. So we request, if you have not joined any of our conference groups or handles on social media to join them, uh, to be part of them, so that you keep receiving these updates until you receive your certificate. And after that also, you can take part in various activities organized by us on daily basis. And coming up is this entire month is commemorated as Health Month, and April 7th is celebrated as Health Day. So we are coming up with an international seminar or conference on occasion of World Health Day after this week. So mostly after 10th. So we request whoever is interested to make presentations can contact us or can contact the coordinator with your topics so that we can schedule. And soon a copy will also, an intimation will also be shared along with the registration link where you can register as a participant. And also that form will be same for all the speakers, participants. If you want to intimate us in advance, you can always mail it. Contact us with the details. So thank you everyone for joining us. Hope you have enjoyed these sessions. And while you are filling up the feedback form, if you have any queries, you can unmute yourself, or you can raise your hand, or you can use chat box to share your feedback. Along with that, quickly fill up the feedback form. It is mandatory for generating certificates. So thank you everyone for joining us. See you all tomorrow. Take care. Good night. Christina, do you have any query? You have raised your hand. You can unmute yourself.
Good evening, everyone. Good evening, Dr. Ravindra. Thank you for that presentation. Can you all hear me?
Your voice is very low, ma'am.
Now, am I audible?
Yeah, no.
Yeah, good evening. This is evening here in Nigeria, and I'm sure it's evening over there or towards morning. Thank you very much for
Here also
sharing.
it's the night, 8:15 now. In the
Wow.
night.
Thank you very much for this session. I have learned a lot from this session. The things that ordinarily humans or most of all in this part of the country look at with so much disgust or disdain, which is the rodent. Nobody, because of the way
Your voice is breaking.
Having attended this session to be treated. Yes, can you hear me now?
Yeah,
Hello?
now it's, yeah. Please continue.
All right. Sorry about the network. I think it's partly the network, and then maybe I'm not positioned. Appreciate Dr. Ravindra. Thank you very much for this great insight and presentation. I talked about learning from your session about the rats, who you describe them as clean and tidy, except if they are found in certain environments, they could present to be dirty. But from where I come from, like in Nigeria, I have not seen anybody that wants to have rats in their houses or anywhere they live. It is considered a very dirty thing to cohabit with. And once people's houses are noticed to have such, that person is considered to be an unkept person or very dirty or untidy person. I also learned the care for them. And I said, for me or for us on this part of the country, it is the most, it is seen as one of the disgusting things to live with. And today I'm hearing that it is celebrated and valued to even have a day to commemorate. So for me, it's a great learning. And then also, talking about the reputation, in as much as some of the rats are seen to have negative reputations, as well as some humans too. So I think this session or this lecture is going to change my perspective in the way I view things. So just like we have economic importance for certain kinds of animals or insects, I think in biology they tell about economic importance of cockroaches. And it sounds very disgusting because I don't get it. So we need to begin to value these God creations too. So I have been in places where I see very harmful ants and I make attempts to kill them. And people say, no, just let them be. They also have rights to live. So I've learned a lot. Thank you, Doctor, and thank you so much, Dr. Ravindra, for giving me this great opportunity to learn from this session. And thank you for the presentation. Thank you for the opportunity you've always created for us to learn on this platform. I'm grateful. Thank you.
Thank you, Christina, for your kind words and sharing your feedback.
Yeah.
Keep joining us, and we have a lot more to come in coming days.
Thank you very much. Thank you.